The morning light crept quietly through the thin curtains of the small house as Daniel lay awake listening to his father's slow breathing from the next room, the kind of breathing that carried years in it, years of labor, disappointment, patience, and unspoken love. And even though the house was old and the walls had cracks like wrinkles on a tired face, it felt alive because his father was there, because kindness lived in small gestures that never announced themselves, like the way his father woke before sunrise every day without complaint, the way he warmed the water for Daniel's bath when he was younger, the way he pretended not to notice when Daniel failed or broke or disappointed him. Kindness was not loud in this house, it never gave speeches, it simply existed in routine, in sacrifice, in silence, and Daniel remembered being a child, standing on his toes to reach the sink, feeling his father's large hands guiding his smaller ones, teaching him how to wash properly, not rushing him, never mocking his slowness, only saying, "Take your time, son, the world already rushes too much," and those words stayed somewhere deep inside Daniel, even when life later became harsh and fast and unforgiving. His father's kindness was not something Daniel understood fully when he was young, because kindness often looks ordinary until it is missing, until it is tested by anger or pride or distance, and as Daniel grew older he began to mistake his father's quiet nature for weakness, his softness for ignorance, his patience for fear, and in doing so he unknowingly wounded the very heart that had protected him his entire life. His father, whose name was Samuel, never corrected him harshly, never raised his voice. Even when Daniel spoke with frustration or disrespect, Samuel would simply listen, eyes lowered, hands folded, absorbing the words like rain falling on dry soil, not because they didn't hurt but because he believed kindness could survive pain. And pain did come. It came when Daniel left home chasing ambition, chasing success, chasing a life bigger than the small house and the tired hands that built it. And when he left he did not look back properly. He hugged his father quickly, impatiently, unaware that Samuel stood at the door long after Daniel disappeared down the road, his chest tight, his eyes wet, whispering a prayer for his son's safety. Kindness once again choosing love over pride. Years passed and the world taught Daniel many lessons but few about kindness. The city was sharp and loud, people measured worth in profit and power, and Daniel learned how to speak quickly, how to defend himself, how to hide softness, and slowly he forgot the sound of his father's breathing through thin walls, forgot the warmth of early mornings, forgot that kindness once shaped his understanding of life, until one day failure arrived unannounced, as it often does, stripping away illusions, leaving Daniel alone in a crowded world. His job collapsed, relationships fractured, and suddenly the silence felt heavier than noise, and in that silence memories returned, memories of Samuel sitting at the small table, repairing broken things instead of throwing them away, saying softly, "Some things only need patience, not replacement." And Daniel realized with shame that he had replaced his father's values with the world's approval. When Daniel finally returned home years later, he found Samuel thinner, slower, his hair gray like ash after a long fire, but his eyes were the same, gentle, welcoming, without judgment, and that kindness hurt more than anger would have, because it reminded Daniel of everything he had taken for granted. Samuel did not ask questions, did not demand explanations, he simply opened the door and said, "You must be tired," and those words broke something inside Daniel, because kindness received when one feels undeserving cuts deeper than punishment. Days passed quietly, father and son sharing space like strangers learning each other again. Yet kindness bridged the distance, Samuel waking early to make breakfast, Daniel noticing the tremor in his father's hands, the careful movements, the unspoken effort, and guilt began to bloom, not as self-hatred but as responsibility, a desire to give back what was once freely given. One evening as the sun dipped low and painted the sky with tired colors, Samuel struggled to stand and Daniel rushed to help him. And for the first time their roles reversed, and Samuel smiled softly, not with embarrassment but with acceptance, kindness allowing vulnerability, and Daniel felt tears burn his eyes as he understood that strength was never about control, it was about care, it was about showing up again and again without applause, without reward, just because love asked you to. Samuel later fell ill, slowly at first, then suddenly, and hospitals replaced home warmth, machines replaced breathing sounds, and Daniel sat by his father's bed holding the same hands that once held his, feeling their fragility, feeling time slipping like sand, and in those moments kindness became everything, not grand gestures but presence, staying awake, listening, forgiving silently, And when Samuel finally spoke one night, his voice weak but steady, he said, "I was never afraid for you, son. I knew you would learn kindness eventually. The world teaches harshly, but the heart remembers." And Daniel wept, because he realized that kindness had never left him. It had only waited patiently, like his father always did. When Samuel passed away, the house felt emptier but fuller too, filled with lessons, with invisible warmth, with a legacy not written in money or success but in gentleness. And Daniel carried that legacy forward, in how he spoke, how he listened, how he forgave, how he treated strangers, because kindness once received becomes kindness reborn, and in that cycle father and son never truly separate. They live on in each other, quietly, deeply, endlessly.